Hello. Hello.
All right, here we go. Confidence Conversations with Idara. Welcome. Our conversation today is with Dr. Edeama Jonah. And I'll do a brief introduction and then give you an opportunity to do the same. Thank you so much for making the time to join this conversation. So, Dr. Jonah, I'll say Dr. Edeama for the rest of it.
Correct.
Your background is in academia. You're working in academia and have for the past more than the last 15 years with being a professor and a librarian. Your focus has been on information literacy. You're also a researcher, and that's been a big part of your background and your experience in general, with articles published internationally and on several occasions. Your career is also an international career spanning not just the United States, but also Nigeria and South Africa. And I want to make sure that I've not left anything out of your illustrious academic career. So if there's anything that I've left off, please add to this introduction now.
Thank you so much, Idara. I am just very excited to be on this call with you. And thank you so much. You've done a great job with my career and my background. I just want to add that one of the things that I do synonymously with information literacy is to work with underserved students population, marginalized students group, and disproportionately impacted students group. And in one word, I know that's a lot of words together. It is more like I have a passion to serve students who naturally, or I wouldn't say naturally, in various instances may not have access to resources, and sometimes even with the availability of the resources, do not know that these resources exist. So I have the passion to creating tools and creating avenues to promote access to resources and making sure that students have access and utilize these resources fully.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edeama. Your point is well taken. You know, there's resource, there's even proximity to resource, but it's really the access that makes a difference. You know, in the last few years, I've had the honor of learning more about literacy and the challenges around literacy, some of which were heightened during COVID pandemic, when we also start to realize so much is digital now. What happens when people cannot access information digitally? How much of a disadvantage does that put them in? So let me pause and say thank you so much for the work that you are doing, because it is powerful, it is impactful, it makes a difference, and it is changing lives for people to be able to have access in ways that they would not otherwise. So thank you so much for doing the work that you do.
My pleasure, Idara. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Sorry, please continue.
I said it's always a pleasure just knowing that everything we do is getting out, making access to students and making an impact in our society. So thank you.
Thank you. I was really looking forward to this conversation. I'm so excited, as just having a conversation with you and getting to know a little bit more of your background. I just thought how this ties into confidence and how we're affected across various life circumstances. But I wanted to start with what your own definition or description of confidence is.
And when I think about the word confidence, it means a lot to me, true, Idara. It means a lot transcending beyond my career to my life as a person. And so I would say I thought about it and I said, confidence can be seen in a different way, can be seen in different ways to different people. But for me, confidence is synonymous with believe. And I would say believe in myself or believe in yourself. But I thought about it maybe as an educator now. I thought about the word intentional believe. It has to be intentional. You need to know that I believe in myself, and that's what will spur the confidence. That's what would make it like, okay, beyond just believing, intentionally knowing that I can do this. So again, I thought about when I think of confidence, I think about the word believe. I think about positive thinking. And going back a little bit to my past and all, when life happens, I think about confidence more like believing in living again, moving, getting up, making room for more, and believing that there's more. So I would say confidence cannot be described in one word, but it's all basically more in all that I've said. Yeah.
Belief.
I can do it. Yeah. So
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Belief, self-belief, but more importantly, intentional
Absolutely. That's a word.
belief.
Intentional belief. Yes. Believing that I can do this and getting up in whatever life throws at you, whatever your career path is, just knowing that if this can be done. Yes. Just give it a try, just a little push. It can be done. Yeah.
That I haven't heard that definition before, and I've been having these conversations with a number of different people. It's when you say it means different things to different people, you are spot on with that. This is a perspective that's yet another unique perspective on it. It's touching on sort of the same core thing, but this idea of intentional belief sounds active in a way, almost like proactive. It's not a passive thing, and maybe it's not necessarily a specific action, but intentional belief has an activeness to it that resonates a little bit differently.
That's right, Idara. Yeah.
Thank you for that definition. I'm going to marinate on that one for a little while. Okay, so along the same lines, and I'm knowing how you've carved this out about the definition and how it ties in, can you share a time when this confidence, this belief, this active self-belief has made a difference in your career?
Yeah, I'm glad you said a time, because if you had said, can you share times, then we'll go on in this conversation. So I'd really tried to stick it to a time. But I know that there's always a transition within things that happen in our life. And before I just say that, I wanted to say that confidence has made, even through my career path, moving through cities, moving through countries, moving through continents.
Yeah.
And that in a way would be a framework of speaking about my career, because just like you rightly said, I've had to weave my career through different destinations, and it's been the confidence that has taken me through those phases. But I'll speak precisely to precisely to the last work that I'm doing. And but before then, I remember I had just started my doctorate approximately 6 months or 7 months, and tragedy struck. And that's why I come from. I talk about confidence being an intentional thing. I would have said at that point, oops, I think it was never meant for me to have a doctorate. Life happened. I lost someone very close to my life, but I intentionally, and with the support, of course, we're going to talk deeply about other things, about confidence boosters. I knew that if I needed to be where I am right now in my career, I needed that stepstone, and which was my doctorate. So, and that was one of the greatest thing that meant a lot to me. But fast forward to a couple of years ago, I wouldn't say about 5 or 4 years ago, I had to take a toll in my career path, and more like the path that I am on, which is serving and working directly with underserved population, more like being equity minded as a librarian. And that was the first of its kind. I remember getting on that role the first 2 months. And in the field of librarianship, we wait for people to come to ask for information. The librarian typically would be at the reference desk, and then people come to ask for information. But turning the part and going to look for people who need information was totally new. And that's what I've been doing in the past 5 years. I work and from an equity perspective of providing information to underserved population. And that was where confidence really made a difference in my life. Taking on that different perspective, and saying, I'm going to do some more outreach. I'm going to reach out to students. And I must say it really made an impact, because right now, the phase of librarianship in the space that I work has also changed. It is no longer a thing where people sit behind the desk to wait for students to come to us. It's more about outreach. It's made a whole lot of difference. And right now, it is no longer more like a college thing. Because when I started this part, I must say, Idara, I was one, and maybe not maybe, I was one and the only in my district, like my region. But right now, it's
that was doing the work, that was doing this work.
That was doing this work. Specifically, I was just basically, because the role was new, my college thought about it and decided maybe we could do this. And just about that time, I felt, well, I can do this. And I got the role, and I got employed, I got the role, and I've been doing that in the last 5 years. And as I speak to you, Idara, the path has been made where librarians are now becoming more equitable minded. They're doing more outreach. And right now it is more of of a concept that the state, it's something that the state is also looking at different ways to hire more librarians. Some more colleges are hiring librarians that are more equitable minded, that do more outreach, that will do more engagement work. So I would say specifically that role and taking that confidence part to say, yes, I can do this, made a whole lot of difference. Right now, I'm making more contacts and partnership with people in the statewide. I'm getting involved with statewide panels and discussions, and we're trying to make this not just something that is new, but something that has come to stay. Yeah.
So it's really broadening the impact, and it's particularly powerful to hear that it started with just one. You know, sometimes that's all it takes, you know, put your money where your mouth is, in a manner of speaking, hired the role, and it was probably not sufficient right off the bat, but by you being in there and you owning it through and through with your heart and caring and showing that it was something that was needed but also worked, it has now grown statewide and potentially nationwide, granting people access. And it makes me think about the recipients, the people on the receiving end of this work, and what a difference it makes to them as well, not only in terms of literacy, but also access to be empowered to make changes in their lives.
Yeah, Idara, and let me just say this very quickly. Truth be told, right now in the last, I would say 2-3 years, it's made tremendous impact. And, you know, personally, from my little corner in my college, I felt it is something that can be done, but not knowing that in other parts of the nation, there were other pockets. There were some people who always wanted to do that, and there were some pockets over there. But being a part of it, starting from my college, as a stepstone, has made me understand, oh, there's more to it. And so if I never had that confidence to say, I'll take on this role, it's first of its kind in my college, first of its kind in my district, I wouldn't have been where I am right now, with knowing that there were pockets and there were other people who had the same passion. And now we're all coming together to look at librarianship from a DEI perspective, and that DEI would be diversity, equity, and inclusion. So doing the librarianship work, doing my career from a diversity, equity, and inclusion perspective has given me the confidence to want to do more. So I think that's, Idara, I'm just going to stop because I could go talk about
I mean, it's
librarianship and all that.
And it touches on so many other things, because to your point, talking about how we could go on and on, I started thinking about how even the nature of libraries has changed, because this is starting to be almost like a wraparound. You're recognizing it's not just about putting information in some place, but now you're actively getting it out to people, thinking outside the box, not only being passive about it and impacting lives in that way. So yes,
and just very quickly, you know, the joy it brings when I hear students say, when you tell them, did you know this? We had this in the library, or did you know that these resources exist? And you'd hear the student tell you, I've been here for this number of years, I've been here for this number of semesters, and I didn't know, because the student never thought to come. But, you know, reaching out, sometimes we have events and all of talking about, did you know this exists? And you see the smile and the joy and on the recipient's face, just knowing that the outreach is doing so much work and the students are getting access to these resources. And just to add, Idara, and not beyond just being happy about it, we are seeing a lot of, we're seeing the stats and the data is also telling us a lot about the fact that it's promoting student success. So
that's incredible.
I'll pause there, Idara. I just need this.
That's incredible. It's definitely worth talking about and teasing out. And when you have the story to show the impact, it just reinforces, you know, this is the right thing. This is the right thing that we're doing. It's making a difference. Now, you mentioned being the first and only before reaching out, sort of making it your own and connecting to others. I would imagine with every time you're doing something for the first time, something new, and there's a massive change with your changing not only countries, continents, locations, and so on, there weren't always guarantees of what the outcome would be. And so what are the things that have served as confidence boosters? You know, what has served to kind of keep the spark going on your active, intentional belief in yourself?
Idara, the moment you said that, the first word that jumped out to me was, and then I'm trying to look for the better way to say self-talk. And I'm not just going to say self-talk, I'm going to say positive self-talk.
Positive self-talk.
Yes, because self-talk can be negative. Self-talk can be that
Yeah.
positive self-talk. And it goes back to intentionality, right? Because you have to be very intentional to speak to yourself positively, especially when the circumstances around you, everything is not saying the positive thing.
Yeah.
And I must say, when I got on my role and when I started deciding to take the path of equity in the librarian, in the path of librarianship, because it was totally new, you would say there wasn't a foundation to it. And so creating the foundation had to do with believing in myself and telling myself, Edeama, you could do this. I play a joke around. Sometimes my colleagues hear me speak to myself, like, Edeama, you better do this. So self-talk is a big thing to me. And not just, again, not just self-talk, positive self-talk. And but beyond me, I've also had family as my confidence booster. And before now, it would be my husband. Before now, when I was more like a single mom and before I got married again, it would be my mom. I would always make that phone call, no matter how far it is. I'm like, hey, I need this. And it would be my brother. And I have my twin, and so family has always been there for me. And now I had to make confidence to love again. So I got married after being widowed for a number of years. So I have right beside me a confidence booster who I'd always go to. So family is a big thing. And my boys, trust me, even though they're very young, sometimes they're like, Mom, but you said this, but you did this. And that brings me to the fact that I could speak about this later. Confidence can be transferred. That's one of the things when I was thinking about this topic. My confidence boosters are, my family could be my positive self-talk. My family right now, and even though now that I'm married, my husband is still there. My parents are still. I still make those phone calls. So the family, my confidence boosters are like in different spaces, and they mean wonderfully well to me. The last thing I'd like to say, and maybe the last thing, or maybe not, is,
and it's okay if it's not. we just have a conversation.
No, Idara, I feel very excited sharing this because this is a blend of life that has happened to me and where I'm coming from. So when I think about confidence, and it blends really into my life. So, and that's why maybe I feel very excited just talking about confidence and where I'm coming from. But one of the things I wanted to say is having that confidence building tribe, right? And so confidence building tribe would be a makeup of even friends. I have very friends who are very optimistic. Like, and when I reach out to them, they're like, Edeama, I remember you did this, right? So my confidence building tribe, I call them confidence building tribe because they're my tribe. They're the goals. So the friends, the families. And so when my self-talk is not enough, when my personal and positive self-talk is not enough, I have those confidence building tribe that I go to. So I tap from them. And that has been helpful. But my last confidence booster would be reflections on where I'm coming from, my success stories. Yeah. So sometimes when my friends tell me, when family members are giving me those boosters, I am confident to know that, okay, if this happened, no matter how little, if I did this, then I think I can summon more strength and courage and confidence to try the next one. And so that's kept me on in some ways. Yeah.
I love it. As you were talking, I was writing things down because I'm telling you what you've done now, Dr. Edeama. You've given us like 3 other topics, and I don't know that it's going to end anytime soon. But you said confidence can be transferred, and I'm wondering if it's this concept that I've used of you kind of borrow confidence or you borrow a spark. It's in you, but something has caused it to be a little bit dampened or muted, and then you say tribe. I've been saying village is there to remind you or to just kind of reignite that spark for you, and it's there, but you just had to borrow that spark from someone. When you say confidence can be transferred, is it a similar concept?
Idara, yeah, I would say it's similar because and this is very experiential. This is very like practical, and that's why I mentioned my boys. Yes, sometimes you already have, and I would say it's the same, but not the same in a way, because there are people who are like your pillars. They're your confidence pillars. They have their own confidence strength, right? And they're just like confidence people themselves, right? And you didn't transfer it to them. They just have it. But there are other people in your life, by virtue of your confidence, by virtue of the fact that you've stayed strong, you're transferring confidence to them.
To
Right?
them.
They were never like confident pillars, but you're making, by virtue of your living with them. And I'd say this with young children. And as a mother, I'd say we can transfer confidence to our kids. My little boy, and in fact, my two boys, that's where I see confidence transfer, because now sometimes when my self-talk is not enough, and when my confidence is not built enough, then they're like, Mom, but you said this, but Mom, but you did this. I remember when I was going for an interview, and I'll talk about something later. I had so much cold feet about doing it. I kept thinking, sometimes you're overthinking, but I had the self-talk. I was in between building my self-talk with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what ignited my self-talk and me? It was one of my boys. They were like, Mom, I think you can do this. You did this. And my son came to me, Mom, believe in yourself.
Oh.
And that jacked me back to life. So confidence can be transferred. So you may not have confidence pillars. What you were talking about leaning to your tribe, those could be existing confidence pillars. And it also brings me to the mind where we have to be very intentional about the people because you have confidence pillars, you have confidence boosters. But if you go the wrong way and you meet with people who diffuse your confidence,
yes,
then that's it. But confidence can be transferred and it can be built over time. Yeah.
100%. The same way you have confidence builders and boosters, I'm sure people have experienced it, and it could be their own low self-esteem. It could be envy. It could be a number of different things where people also, maybe unconsciously, but sometimes intentionally, are saying things that are the opposite of that positive self-talk. And you have to be conscious enough to distance yourself from it.
That's right.
You've added, that's another topic, just so you know.
Yeah, but in summary, Idara, I think it starts with us. And that's why I said intentional belief, because you have to have the willpower to move. When you know this is not a confidence pillar, I cannot lean on this person, then you move. But
then you move.
That's right.
And then for the confidence pillars, I love that expression, and it sounds almost like they are constants, they are themselves confident, and you know that you can lean on them if you need to. Confidence pillars. Confidence can be transferred. You have a confidence building tribe. And for you, that includes your family members, including your precious children.
That's right.
Your mom, your brother, your twin, and your husband. Yes. Ultimately, as well as your own self-reflection.
That's right, Idara.
And you need to have a way of being able to tap into that as well.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's a very in-depth.
Thank you, Idara. You're the one keeping me excited with this conversation. So thank you.
This is exciting stuff, I knew it was going to be a great conversation, Dr. Edeama.
Thank you.
It's just incredible. And you touched on, life circumstances in general, and that was part of what got us talking about confidence in general. You mentioned earlier tragedy, being a widowed mom, being a single mom, and you described just how in those times you need to be able to be intentional and so on. But it's a point that's well taken. Life happens. Life happens, and it's not always planned, and it's not always exciting, positive.
It's not a choice either.
And it's not always a choice.
It's not a choice.
And you'll be coming from a personal place with this, but what does one do to maintain confidence during trying personal times?
Idara, thank you for that question. And I must say, I'm happy you took time to explain that when life happens, it happens. Yes. Truly told. And sometimes when tragedy struck in my life, for me, it felt like, taking an egg. It was well wrapped, very beautiful, and dropping it, and you're thinking, can I pick up those pieces? So to your question, how do you maintain confidence during trying times? I think one of the things has to go back to believing in yourself. You have to get to that point where you're like, I can do this. It has happened, but I can do it. I think it's just seeing that little light, no matter what, no matter how it is, just seeing some good out of it. And Idara, when I got bereaved, when I got widowed, it looked like all my world had crumbled. I had these two little boys. I had a 1 year old and 1 and 3 month old, and I had a 3 year old with me who are now 13 and like big boys now, and who I have to do this to talk to. But it looked like life, it looked like that was the end. And like I said, I was just starting my doctorate, but I had to step back. And again, with my confidence building tribe, with my family, and with those friends that were there, I had to see just some little light. And one way to maintain confidence would be looking at those little success stories, right? And no matter how it can be, we have different life pathways. But I was having a talk with my son yesterday, and I said, there's no one on earth that doesn't have a purpose. And so today in this talk, Idara, I'm going to say there's no one on earth that has never had a success story. Look back into your life. There must have been a success story. If there's never been a success story, there's something that you did that you gave yourself kudos for, or you gave yourself some compliments for. So one of the ways to maintain your confidence is believing in you and in believing in that little success story. And when you've done those two things, the next thing would be to focus on the success story. So what I did in those trying times was like, okay, Edeama, I have this voice. So what am I going to do? And that's why, and so I said, well, I'm going to try to like live and make life beautiful for them. And not just for them, for myself. So I stayed positive on the areas I excelled. So what I would say, stay positive on the areas you excelled. Build confidence. Confidence is not a one-time thing. It's something that builds. Your confidence keeps growing, because the more confidence you build, then the more you'd have more excelling points. So tell yourself, what did I do the last time that worked so well? If I did that, then I can. So in summary, focus on your success story, stay on the positive path, and build on your confidence. And I must say, practically with my boys, I remember there were things that worked. There were times there. Then I stayed with them and I groomed them a little bit, even though then I was still married. And I said, how did I do those? And so I built on it, and I had to try some new things. Like I had to try, how you have to stay in the store, don't move. I'm going to the next aisle, and I'll be back. And and I said, if this boys learns to stay in a particular spot for a little while, then I could build their maturity level. I could make them a little bit more responsible. So I built on those things that I had excelled in. I built on those things that had made success. So stay on your success story, no matter what. Idara, especially when we're going through very terrible, trying times, it would look like life doesn't mean anything. But from experience and from where I am right now, Idara, I would know that no matter, if anyone who's going to be listening right now, and you're in a time in your life where you think there's absolutely no light, from experience, Idara, if you look intentionally, there's light. Trust me. From my career, I had to change career paths. Not like I've always been a librarian all my life, but I had to change, like talking about doing the equity work. I had to move, like I said, countries, continents. I had to move between cities. But looking at my past success stories was something that helped me. So that's one way to maintain confidence during trying times. And I also want to say, one other part of me that I haven't talked about is confidence has helped me with building leadership experiences. And right now, for example, I'm currently the president of one of the leading communities here. And when I was asked to serve in that role, Idara, I felt, oh no, I don't think I could do it. I tried to self-talk myself, but I remembered, I had to remember that at some point before all this happened, I had led in other roles. I was a leader somewhere. And I said, Edeama, you can move it over here. So again, just those trying times could have a way to make us not feel like we have anything in us. It could be trying times with your job, maybe a job loss. It could be a family member. It could be finances. But whatever it is, Idara, if we take a look at where we had excelled or focus on the past success, it would be a stepping stone to more like maintaining what has been. So confidence can be built, and the way to maintain it is to build on what you have already had or what you had before. And trust me, you get it sustained.
That is incredible. I was looking for ways to kind of capture the things that you had mentioned, and I'll say the four main things that I took away from this about maintaining confidence during trying personal times. Staying positive in the areas where you excel,
Excelled.
where you excelled.
I'm sorry, it's an English, it's a teacher in me. I'm sorry. I should have just
Excel. I said excel because I was thinking of it truly as present, continuous. So it's like, these are my strengths. This is what I do. Then
that's right.
look to previous wins and previous successes,
Mhm.
build confidence in those other areas,
Mhm.
and then find the little light. Look intentionally and find the little light that you can focus on, because having that future goal, looking to that little light that you can reach,
Mhm.
also helps to pull you in that direction.
There, you should write a book. You put the point so well. You can make a book out of this.
We really could. And then, my all jokes aside, okay, so I've written the confidence talk, and some of the points like the village and having goals, so that because
Okay.
sometimes when you're struggling or going through something, it's very easy to forget where you were going.
Trust
But
me.
I called it advance, advance, keep going, remember where it was that you were heading and
Absolutely.
continuing to go. Well, it's like, had we talked, maybe I would have said Idara's confidence talk and then Edeama's confidence talk, because there's some catchy phrases you've used here, man. Confidence pillars, confidence can be transferred, your confidence building tribe.
Uh-huh.
You should write a book. You should write a book.
Idara, confidence made me love again. Trust me, it made me love again. So we can talk about confidence with love and
Yes.
lots of
Yes.
things.
I've been career focused in the sense, I often tell people that where in our personal life we have different set of tools, and sometimes we feel a bit out of sorts and restricted when we're in the workplace. And so I focused on rebuilding confidence in the workplace, because you can pull certain tools together, and it affects your life, but it's a more controlled, relatively narrowed focus. But the personal life, talk about the confidence to love, is a strong and very relevant point.
Let's leave it there, Idara.
Really and truly. So when you're ready, we can have that conversation. I mean, I've been doing career focus, but I'm sure that would be a
Yeah.
powerful and helpful thing. Now, talking about advance and
Mhm.
continuing to look forward,
Mhm.
what's your next bold move?
Oh, wow. Okay, so Idara, when you just asked that question, I said, oh wow, for a purpose, because you know, when you talk about move, then that means you have to move, right?
Yes.
I think that question hit the head. It kind of like it hit the nail. My next bold move, it looked like he looked into my heart and saw that I've been working on something that I really need a bold move and I need so much confidence. It is starting right now. I am working on starting, and it's been on. Okay, so let me pull back a little. Apart from and aside being an educator and being a professor for a number of years, I added to my portfolio being a certified life coach and a master life coach.
That's incredible.
Yes, Idara. And the reason, Idara,
That's incredible. Edema, congratulations. Oh, I'm happy in advance for your clients. Please continue.
but speaking about it, so I've been a certified and master life coach for almost 2 years now. But to be totally there, as an
On the
educator,
side, real
no,
quick.
Idara, but I haven't. As an educator, I just felt um maybe because thinking about the outfit, thinking about creating something, an initiative out of it as an educator, for me, they look like two different things. But I had to, giving a summary to a conversation, had to do some positive self-talk. I leaned and I tapped into my confidence building tribe, my family, my son, my husband. And so the outfit, it's actually in the next 1 month. It should be launched in the next 1 or 2, 3 months. So
you heard it here first, folks.
so that's a bold step, Either that's the next bold move. And so, but it's gonna be I'm gonna be working with parents and working with students,
So
and getting them involved, and they're more like helping and supporting family members to be more involved with their children's academics and education.
Edeama, this is so needed. I told you I'm on part of the Council on Literacy. I'm on the board, and this is something that's come up as a strategy. It's like providing tools to parents so that they can be empowered to help their children?
Idara. Okay, so and so I'm happy that this is making some. This is because and so I do have a name. The website is being created. We have a logo, so it's like really a big bold move, Idara.
Oh my.
And this is actually from an experiential point, because having been in academia for many years, and as a parent and a mom, I realized even when I work with students in the college, some students tell me sometimes the parents also do it really. The students are all they don't know what to do. And I feel if parents knew maybe to guide them or even talk to them and maybe even give them confidence boosters as they get into college, especially Idara, our underserved, marginalized students population, that the parents do not know what and how to support. So my consulting and coaching outfit would be to work with these parents and show them the little ways. Everything doesn't have to be with finances, just being there and being involved and being that confidence booster, speaking to your talk. So that's my next bold move, starting that outfit and working with parents and also working with students to promote not just literacy, but promote academic excellence. So the name of the outfit, making an announcement, drum rolls, would be Excellent Ed. So it's going to be excellent, but it's Excellent Ed. So we'll look forward to, I'll share the resources with you.
Oh my, yes. I will include the website link in the description for the video and for the podcast. That is incredible.
So thank you, Idara, for making me publicly announce.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. Congratulations and thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Idara, for giving me the platform and for also being my, so I bring you into my confidence building tribe. You've always been,
Happy to join, ma'am. Happy to join.
Thank you, Idara.
Happy to join. They say iron sharpens iron too.
That's the word. It's like, do you know, I had that word all in my mind when I sat down here. I was going to tell you there. Do you know the word when it says iron sharpening iron? That's true.
Really? Look at this. We're in sync. We are in sync. I'll make one more comment about the nature of the work that you described. And we often think about the parents needing help, like you said, in financial terms. The reality is, however, that even when you don't think in terms of just the financial, whether or not financial needs are met, the more empowered a parent feels, the better right off the bat. Part of my challenge with having children in the United States was having not gone through the educational system in the United States. And so there was a newness to it that I could use access to resources. I'll show up for sure, and I will learn from showing up. If, however, I had information in advance, I would be empowered to proactively help my child as well. So just knowing those sorts of tools, I would reach out to a resource such as you to have access to those tools, or to add to what I already know to make sure that my child has every advantage that they have so that they are able to make the most of their own, time, abilities, and so on when they're there or when they're on their way there. So I just see such tremendous potential and need, and that need being met in a broad way with this service that you are providing. This is very exciting, Edeama.
Thank you, Idara. And just to add very quickly, I'm also, because I also understand in the college, we also have students who are adult students. We also have students who are on their own. Maybe life happened, immigrant students across the world, international students. So we'll be working with them because they're not going to be left out just because in some cases, adult or family members. So this would span beyond. My intentional target group would be parents, that I work with students. I'd also work with institutions and organizations and community centers who have direct access to working with.
Incredible. The possibilities are endless.
I know, Idara, and with confidence, with confidence, the possibilities are unending.
With confidence, the possibilities are endless. I love it. That's a perfect note. Edeama, thank you so much for your time today, the information that you shared, the insights, your work that you're doing, the evolving work that you're doing. Thank you so much. It's been an incredible privilege and honor to sit and have this confidence conversation with you.
Thank you, Idara. I am so appreciative of the fact that you gave this time and asked that I be on this call with you. I appreciate you, and congratulations for all the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm also building my confidence just being in this space and talking. So thank you so much, Idara. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, we will end this confidence conversation with Idara and Dr. Edeama Jonah.
Yeah.